Welcome to the archives. Boston House Music Dance DJs documentary.
If the music got soul, what do you think that's going to happen? Everybody's gonna get down to it. This documentary don't have no color. It's for everybody.
They're gonna play deep house, disco, and a little bit of reggae, hip hop, a little bit of everything.
The house music movement in Boston in 1980s, 1990s.
Yo, check it out, Doug. Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
As far as the club scene, you know, a couple of clubs are like, kind of like, not letting brothers in.
What made brothers from another planet dances? It was a lot of Haitian dances, of course. Cape Verdeans, Latinos, and definitely you had some black dances.
Welcome to the Boston House Music Dance DJs documentary.
The first club was Club M, was my first set, and I got booed off the decks because it was a reggae night and I started playing house, and the Jamaicans were booing me out the fucking building. It was a Thursday night. Gide Max spun on the house night, which was a Friday, and these white guys were trying to start a reggae night. I knew who the owner was. His name was Vincent. He ended up working on Lansdowne Street. The real story is I used to work at Boston Beat, and the owner accused me of stealing. And I was like, huh? You're gonna accuse me of stealing? And I walked out the store. Then I went to Beat Nonstop. I asked him for a job, and he said he was closing. So then I said, then why don't I open up a store if they're gonna close? So on December 16th, 1995, I opened up Biscuit Records.
Dancing at Club M, I was asked to be a dancer and dancing on a speaker box. It was very interesting because I got to see the club scene from a different side because I was there earlier than everyone else and there later than everyone else, but still able to enjoy the music and the atmosphere. And there definitely is a vibe, like if the crowd energy is low or the DJ is not reaching the crowd, the energy is low and the way that you feel doesn't match. Like you have to sort of hype the crowd up, and if the energy in the crowd is not hyped up, it's really hard to get those people there.
G-Day Max was playing and Troy Anthony, and I got to meet them through my girlfriend at the time, and it was crazy. Like I said, the place was packed, the music was good. And then when I knew that this place, when I really knew that this place was like a really happening place, is when this guy pulled out baby powder.
I got a crazy story about that club. And you probably, we had battled you guys at Club M one night, and I did this move, and it was like, we call it a W, and I jumped up and went all the way back and touched the ground. And I got up and I was like, oh shit, I pulled all my muscles in my legs. Y'all didn't know because I think the battle ended right there.
Club M was definitely high school for me. I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. It lasted until 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was a juice bar. It was a juice bar. They didn't serve any alcohol. So they were lenient back then. Back then, you can get a fake ID for Mattapan Square. You get a fake ID for Mattapan Square, and you know, I'm telling you, I was young looking, but I had the height, so I was able. And then I hung up with older people, older cats. So they assumed, okay, it's more lenient. It's the '80s, more lenient back then. It was not like today. But so they would let me in, and boy, oh boy, never seen anything like this in my life. That's where I met Boogie, one of the illest dancers I've ever seen dance, man. Like, I was dancing, but these guys were dancing, and they were the stars. Imagine going to the club, going there. That's my first interaction, just seeing like, just everybody. Like, it was, you know, white, black, Asian, gay, straight. Everybody's together and they partying, and you never like as a teenager at the time, I've never seen anything like that. I was like, yo, this is wild, bro. And you can hear the jubilation when you're getting into the club, and then you go and then you see the circle, and you're like, why is everybody standing in a circle? Because as a teenager, I've never, you know, not encountered it on this level, because these are grown men dancing now. So I go and I look, and boy, these guys were getting busy, like for hours busy, drenched busy. And one of the things I noticed, everybody had backpacks. The thing I knew about the backpack was they used to keep they dry stuff in the backpack because it'd be so wet from dancing all damn night. It was crazy. So that energy, man, you would notice that energy. And the energy was nuts, man. Like, it would just last for hours. I was in awe, and I fell in love with the process at that time. I fell in love, man.
GD Maxx is the godfather of Boston House. I met GD Maxx when I was working at Dance Music Plus. He recently passed away, and we did a tribute for him on my Utopia Boston radio show on dhpradio.com. GD kind of like took me under his wing and introduced me, him and Bob Diesel.
And he was house music favorites because he would always do this, GD Maxx, and we would all scream, ah, GD Maxx. And he would just play all the stuff we wanted to hear. He would ask us at the beginning what we'd like to hear. We would tell him what we'd like to hear, and he would get everything fit in and spin seamlessly. But I was very fortunate to be connected with a lot of DJs that were really, really good at what they did.
1991, 92, we'll walk over down to Lansdowne Street, heading over to Access Club.
Access Tuesdays, it was like stepping ground. Like, that's where we all meet. Like, everyone from everywhere in the city, all the dancers, everyone, doesn't matter who you were, that's where you meet on Tuesdays. So during the club will be going on, and then we'll make our little circles and stuff. But half an hour before the club's over, that's when it all goes down, because the club's about to end, everyone started leaving, so we have more space, and that's when we're all looking at each other and stuff. We all hold each other's hand, and we form the little circle, and then from that little circle, we all pull out, we reach our pockets, we have that little powder box, powder box on the ground, and our hand, and we just spray on the ground, make it start slippery, and boom, it's on.
Yeah, I remember one Tuesday night, we just in a circle every corner of the club. It seems like we just have a good time. Amar was DJing, Fuji, Jacques, Tor Jacques, Boyer. We just get busy. DJ Rude Boy spun there. That was my first house club. Rude Boy spun on the first floor, and on the second floor was this white kid named Joe, and he spun some bad shit. And the first house song that I really liked was by Joe Mana, and the name of the song was "Make My Body Rock" on Big Beat Records.
Access on a Tuesday night. House, techno, all that stuff back then was still kind of in its infancy, and everything was real honest. Amazing times, amazing night.
Scene here in Boston was amazing, so we just really got inspired a lot by a lot of the house dancers. As a b-boy, I wasn't just a b-boy, I was also like a house, hip-hop dancer, house dancer, a freestyle dancer. So our thing was to just go to the club and just dance, man. The music was amazing back then, so we really got to just enjoy the music and have a good time and be inspired by dancers. Get down with dancers, battle dancers. I mean, that's what it was all about, at Axis, just getting down. So Tuesday nights was special.
Stayed there till after 2 o'clock. Who performed? I think it was a live performance too. I can't recall who performed, but it was one Tuesday night. But we had some memorable nights there. Love is king. Spiritual awareness and the hypocrisy of human beliefs and rituals. Pivotal mythology, complexity to enlightenment,
Picture the umbilical cord still attached to the source of your warped mental programming.
The club you're looking at over there, that's the Hub Club.
The Hub Club and coming to spots like that was, the DJs that were actually DJ. Who knew that these cats were gonna, take their skills and blow up and become like, the humongous producers that they are today. Bruno is definitely one of them cats who was like official on the wheels.
The Hub Club was a club in downtown Boston where we used to dance. I don't remember the night because we used to go out all the time, where they played house music. We even competed in a house music competition one time. It was great.
I remember him playing DJ Bam Bam.
To Chris's Club, Club M, Club Harbor Club, the Hub Club. I used to also party anywhere. I would just go dance because I love to dance. You did not see me on the floor. Off the floor. You look for my hands. Because my hands be in the air. They're like, oh, there she go.
I don't know who the promoters were, but I know who one of the DJs was. Bam Bam. Paul P. Soul, who lives out in California. And the big song back then was, I believe, was Acid Crash. Big record. And The Conversation by Little Lewis. And that was where I had my first drink. Long Island iced tea. And I puked all over the fucking, all over the dance floor.
Boston at that time had quite a scene, quite an underground scene too for clubbing, and again, like a Tuesday night at Access or Wednesdays at Hub Club, these are like the hardest nights to do now, and they were popping off.
Where you used to dance at?
Yo, dance at the Hub Club, which was my first experience in club. You know what I'm saying?
Delphine, Tor Jacques, my brother, Boye, they Al Fuji, they own the hub club. Like all eyes was always on them, and I was the youngest, trying to get in there, do my little thing, but I was still shy. But I ain't really. I still did my thing. I had my style, but those guys were legends in the hub club. I met Armand at school. Him and I were students at Bunker Hill Community College.
Boston all day. I'm a Boston guy, and I come from Boston. And I do house music, and that's it. And I love life.
Club night that I went to at the Loft was Friday nights. And it was like we had a routine. We'd all hang out at the Galleria Mall earlier in the night, and then the Galleria would close. We would go to the Copley Mall. We'd hang out there, and then from there, by the time we finally got to the Loft, we were probably like 15 or 20 deep. It was beautiful, man. Like, I still got all my Loft friends I still keep in touch with now, and all my brothers, I still got them all, so I'm blessed.
To the Loft at 16. My friend was 18. He snuck me in. I look like a baby. I'm old, but I look like a baby. He was like, she's 18. You should have seen me when I was 16. But anyway, I went to the Loft, and they were playing more like disco, you know what I mean? But I just thought I was grown. And then after that, it's just everywhere.
I started at the Loft as doorman, and it progressed from there, meeting world-class DJs, other dancers, other people around the city. We were just in that club kid movement at the time.
The first time I went, I just remember it was like older, right? And I was just excited to be there. But so that's when I didn't pay to get in, anyway.
So yeah, seeing Bruno at the Loft there in late 90s, it's definitely a very memorable experience for me. Just what he was playing, the crowd, the way that people were reacting to it, just the whole scene, the energy was really different then. I was going to a lot of hip hop shows, a lot of rock shows in town at the time, and it was very different. And I not in a bad way, in a great way. It was kind of something that I was like, where has this been? And it was special. So I'm definitely glad that I was part of, in my very small way, able to experience that at that time.
Circle Children was formed. DJ Bruno was running a club, Utopia, Boston, and he needed a group to come and do a performance. So me and some other dancers, Sammy, Hosea Richardson, Sol Luciani, Victor, aka Toyota, we all got together and they were like, all right, so like 6 of us will do this show. Jose Felix, Dustin, probably like 12 of us all together. We were like 6 people gonna do the show. So I believe the first show was me, Sammy, Soul, Jose Felix, Dustin, and Toyota. I believe it was Victor who did it. So we did this show, and then afterwards, we were all hanging out on a regular basis. So we pretty much like, yo, let's really take this Circle Children name and do this thing. So that's what we did. We performed the circle.
How you doing? I'm Sammy, aka DJ Saboose, aka DJ Safsoul. Loft head, club head, house dancer since 1992. Well, first time I ever stepped into a club, I was like 10 years old. I was a hip hop dancer. I got involved into the music and the arts and everything, and dancing, because I love dancing. And I heard house music for the first time at the Bahama Beach Club from DJ Bruno. I believe it was Robin S. and Two in a Room, some of their tracks and stuff like that. And I saw that it was very, sounded very unique, it sounded very different, fast paced. So I kind of got into it. I didn't know much about, like the music itself until I was brought to the Loft. We became more of like friends that we saw on a weekly basis at the clubs before we actually became the Circle Children. And we became the Circle Children because DJ Bruno gave us an opportunity to perform at the Paradise. And we actually believe got the blessings and okay to have the name Circle Children from Amon Ben Helden. Because I guess it was a track, right? Circle Children Zulu, that we basically was given the name from. And from there we was just every week, every single time, every chance we got, we went to New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, all the different clubs in Boston, and we just made sure we went in there and we just let it be known who we were.
Well, I started Utopia in '93 at the Paradise nightclub in around Central Square, which was a gay club, because no other club would let me do a house night, 18 plus house night. And I used to do a night there, but I stopped doing the night there after a couple of years because I got tired of watching the owner doing cocaine in front of me at the end of the night. And one time he offered me coke, and I said, no, I do Pepsi, sorry. Yo, you, why you got these guys here? Get these guys out of the store. They're making noise here. And I stopped doing Utopia there, and then I moved to another spot, and then the bouncers were very shady to the patrons trying to come in the club. So that night lasted one night, and I moved it somewhere else, and somewhere else, and somewhere else.
My start, say around 80, 81. I first learned from cats from Providence. And I wish I knew these guys' names. I wish I knew them as a crew, but they're just a bunch of guys, man, that, you know, my sister was dating a guy in Providence at one time, and, you know, my sister being older than me, I would just go down and I was just hanging out. And then one day, just went down, and my sister's boyfriend's brothers and his friends, they were in the basement, and they had, you know, nice size area, and it was just rocking. It was getting down, you know, and even at that time, I didn't even, you know, rocking, getting down. Like, I was just like, what are you guys doing? And all I could see, so, you know, locking and popping I knew, but breaking, I had no clue. And, you know, just on the music, you know, again, the music I was familiar with, but the dance was something I'd never seen. And I just knew that I wanted to be a part of it. And I was there, and, you know, folks were roller skating, but then towards the middle of the floor, you see the dancers.
So the first time I experienced an adventure in a club where house music was played, I think it's important to establish the definition of what house music is, because to the originators and the pioneers of quote house music in Chicago, my guys Jamie 326, Zernel, Rahan, Sadar Bahar. These guys were all playing really disco, which if you go and listen to Ron Hardy, Frankie Knuckles stuff, early on, it's all just disco stuff. So the first time I ever went to a club and heard this, my mother took me to Lansdowne Street, 1978, roller skating, along with my mother. We were on Lansdowne Street, and I think at the time, the club was called Boston. And this is back in the 70s. So fast forward, 1979, now I'm going to Spin-Off every Saturday night. I was the only little boy. I'm about 7 years old, 1979. The impact it had on my life to this day is the reason why I do what I do. Getting to witness Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, The Crusaders, George Benson, Give Me the Night, all these records, brand new at the time, banging in the club, and I was this little boy in this whole like magical world.
The Young Puppeteers were more of a talent show dancers. You know, we did a lot of talent shows around Boston. It was a group my brother started, and then my brother and the other member, Tony Mosby, started hanging out a little bit more. So I started hanging out with Masters Breaks team, and then we ended up just coming up with that name, and we just stuck with it. And that's how we became the Floor Lords.
1990 to 1994, 95, when I was at Boston, when I was DJing in Boston at the larger clubs. I also did a night at Venus de Milo. I called it Powertrain Fridays, and I did all the promotion as well as DJ that night. And Powertrain Fridays was a real foray for me into bringing house music into a club. Sure, I rounded it out for the college crowd, but like Little Mo Yin Yang, you know, Reach, those kinds of records, right? You know, Hard Drive, Deep Inside. And I was starting to feel these house music records coming from New York, from on Strictly, on Nervous, and then coming from Chicago on Casual, and Relief and other labels. And I would really bring those into my sets, as well as what I was getting from the labels themselves as a Billboard Dance Chart reporter. So that time at Venus and Roxy and Europa were really my primary residencies. But there were other things, like in different restaurants that Manos and Christoph promoted. They would create an atmosphere of a club, but in a restaurant. So the Loading Zone was a restaurant down in the south by South Station, and it was just a walk-in restaurant. It looked industrial, and so it really lent itself to being more of a club after 10 o'clock. So people would eat, we put the tables away, and then the DJ booth was already set up. I bring my vinyl. I have my other Euro DJ friends been, you know, DJing, and we would just hit it right there in those restaurants and bars.
They also played Ramrod, which was like the one and only leather bar here in Boston, which is like no longer anymore. I did all this stuff like within the 90s, like early to mid 90s, going up into 96, 97. I was also still doing college radio at Salem State, and I also managed to get some guest spots at MIT Radio. There was a DJ named Pistol Pete who owned a show on Thursday nights and sometimes on Saturday nights called Transitions, and he would go on from like 2 a.m. to 6 in the morning. So after all the clubs would close, I would be able to go over there and we would just be able to play all sorts of house, techno, breaks, trance, whatever we wanted to play till like sunrise. And that was a lot of fun too.
Loft was my birthplace as a house head. From there, it was just different clubs. Visions, Rathskeller. We went to New York, went to the Shelter in the 90s. Limelight, you know, a lot of other clubs in Connecticut as well. Every chance we got that we heard it was a place or a club playing house music, we would just get in the car and just travel. That's all we would do. We were very hungry, wanting to learn about the dance and the culture, just because it's just, you know, it was really good for all of us. When they hear house music, they automatically want to learn how to, you know, house dance. But house dance was formed, you know, by New York dancers in the early 90s, and it became foundation movement, so that way people can understand and distinguish exactly what you're doing. Just like how hip hop has certain steps that has names, that's what became of house dance itself. but a lot of people, I guess, get misconstrued to where what the actual dance is, and we've always known it as freestyle or club dance because we didn't have any names back then. We didn't, you know, people like the Farmer, the Quick Step, or I don't, whatever the names are nowadays, but you know, we don't, us heads, old heads, we don't know none of that. We just know that, yeah, that move with when you put your leg to the side or whatever, like we didn't have any names. So, you know, I think it's just, it's good to people understand where the origins really come from.
Here in '87, from New York, and the girl I was dating ended up taking me to a bunch of different clubs throughout Boston and Revere. So the first club that I went to that played house music was the Nine Lansdowne, and the place was packed like on a Monday night, the whole place, and it was like from 9 Lansdowne all the way to the end of the street was the club. So it was no Bill's Bar, it was no Tiki Lounge or whatever that they have now. So it ran the whole street, and I really didn't expect much because when I lived in New York, a lot of the DJs from that I knew out here from the New Music Seminar, they would go down there and go to the seminar, and they would always complain about how they couldn't play what they needed to play because there were a lot of record pool DJs, and a few of them were rebels, and they ended up playing what they played, and they packed the place anyway. So from what they were saying, I was like, well, I didn't really expect much. But when I went in, the place was packed. I started promoting after that.
What really started my interest is probably like in the early 90s, where you started hearing a lot of dance music on the radio, like hearing Show Me Love by Robin S., some like CeCe Peniston joints and stuff like that. But also at night, I don't know when it used to come on, but it's a new dance show. I think it was out of Detroit, you know, on Boston television. But it must have come on like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So I was watching the new dance show out of Detroit. And like I remember, I just got this core memory of one of the dancers. Her name is Miss Energy. And I always see her dancing to Percolator. So like that's when watching that show was when I was hearing like a lot of the stuff that was coming out of Chicago and Detroit. And so that's part of how I got to know, you know what I'm saying, house music, and started to love it. That started at a very young age. Man, I probably started singing, recording, producing at like 10 years old, you know? So I was always doing music, and I got DJs. I come from like a DJ family. So I was always exposed to just having lots of records around me, having lots of equipment around me. So first it started off with music, and then also being like techie, being obsessed with all different kinds of equipment. I just remember being a kid and being in my cousin's room, and he had microphones. He always be like, don't touch the microphone. Yeah, I remember him having like the, you know, the EQ, with just like mad, you know what I'm saying? Like I look like I got 100 little faders on it, you know? So yeah, I mean, I always loved music. I always just loved all different kinds of equipment.
So I have been in the dance scene, the house scene here since the 90s. And Maurice Wilkie, one of the DJs or organizers here, he brought me in and instantly fell in love. And it's been decades of community, friendship, music, dance, culture, We don't only see each other on the dance floor. We get together. We meet each other's families. We go to each other's houses and backyards, and it's a really, really beautiful community, and just so diverse and uplifting and positive.
In Boston, all right, probably at least since 83, 84. I mean, I was going to parties in college at like places like Northeastern, so a lot of people would come up from New Jersey and New York and DC, and they were actually bringing all this music with them from, like, you know, Zanzibar, from like New Jersey, from New York, and so they would bring a lot of their club music with them, and so actually had that music. You know, people coming from Chicago, so they were bringing their house music with them.
I was introduced to house through the dance first, and also through the music, but primarily the dance was my entry point. So I've been learning about and studying and spending time around different house dancers since 2007. And now I try to help get the word out to the newer generation through the dance. So I teach classes in Boston and Cambridge, Massachusetts that teach foundational movement. And then I try to introduce my students to the club and the sessions where they can meet the people that have been in the scene for a long time, like my big brothers, my elders, so they can see what the true house experience is beyond the class walls.
Well, actually, I taught a workshop last year or earlier this year at the dance complex, and it was really nice. I was actually working with Sean on that. We came together, co-promoted, and did the workshop. I was up here a year prior to that before I decided to do anything, just to see how things work up here before I decided to do anything. And then in December of 2022, I decided to do an event called Soul Controller.
House music to me, and I've been saying this to a lot of people, everybody that I know in my life right now that's in my life as friends, the community has been all through house music. And for me, when I talk about house, I talk about house like almost like she's my wife. You know, like, hey man, I gotta do this for house music. So it's like house music isn't a real person, but I look at house as like my wife because it's the longest relationship I've ever had with anything in my life. For the last 23 years, everything that I've done, dancing, music, traveling, my friends, has been because of house music. Like, I couldn't even last longer in my intimate relationship, and this is the longest thing that I've had in my life. So that's to me what house music is to me, man. And to the day I die, it's gonna be that beautiful wife that's always been there for me and makes me feel good. Some of the first DJs, well, the first one was DJ Bruno. I know everybody from Boston knows Bruno. Much respect to Bruno. I used to go to the Machine nightclub and hear Bruno spin. And then from hearing Bruno, I started meeting some of the other DJs like Leo, Househead P, Mizard, Adam, just like a lot of the DJs. Oh, KC, can't forget about KC. And then I just started following the DJs around, man. And the good thing about Boston is like, you get a little bit of everything, just like New York. You get the deep, the soulful, tech, the afro, a little bit of everything, man.
That's right, Boston 12-inch Hunters Dance Music Plus, located at 240 Meridian Street in East Boston. Call Jarrett, find what you're looking for. All right, WHRB would like to remind all members of the Harvard-Radcliffe community that the Aware Picnic will be held in Memorial Hall from 1 to 4 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday, October 14th, in case of rain, and right now it looks very much like that. All students interested in joining Aware and working against racism are invited to come. All right, we're going to go back again. This is Expansions off the bootleg. Kick it, Knowledge.
DJ Solis's boy brought him some stuff over, and you know HRB Clubhouse is just generally down on the import tip.
Hub Club's located at 533 Washington Street off the orange and red lines. You can get there on the T, guys. Proper dress is required. You want to be looking kind of funky when we let you in at 9:30 when those doors open.
You know what I'm saying? WZBC 90.3. Right about now, we're going to check the interview, you know what I'm saying, because they got something to say to y'all peoples.
Yo. We inside a beat non-stop, you know what I'm saying, in the background. These kids up in here, you know what I'm saying, representing, you know what I'm saying, signing autographs for everybody. Yo, the store's mad packed. Now,
When you say house music or house dance, we're talking about dance music, you know, so it's very progressive, but at the same time, it had its own unique character. It was house. And it was a lot of fun. I remember brothers in the club scene like Tall Jacques, Little T, Little Jacques, Boye, Bruno Caesar, Ricky, a whole bunch of cats, man. A lot of people who participated. My boy Brian, Mad Soul, of course, myself. Shout out to my brother Earl, who recently passed away. He was also, you know, one of my comrades at the time. You know, we were running partners. That year, that was, I guess that a lot of that started in the 90s. Probably in the mid-90s, mid to late 90s. A lot of new heads started to jump on the scene.
The Hub Club was a beautiful spot. It was right on Washington Street, right downtown. It was kind of next to Lee's Imports, the glasses shop, where we all get our gazelles and all those other things. But the Hub Club was this kind of grand space in the 90s, 89, 90, where it was kind of the grand dame of all kind of clubs in that area, because it had a beautiful staircase, a downstairs and the upstairs, and really enjoyed that spot. I actually learned how to be a promoter from that spot. That's where I got really known in the city, because I would host black college parties there. During the summer times, all the black college alums and college students would come back, and I think we had DJ Clark Kent there. And that night was huge. But another thing about the Hub Club is that the bangers came on at that time. Everybody, Everybody by Black Box, Everybody, 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 Everybody. Crystal Waters, la-da-dee, la-da-da, la-da-dee, la-da-da. And the last one is Robin S. You got to show me love. Dun, dun, dun. Those were the songs that were mainstream, that brought the house music merged with the whole different R&B, hip hop, rap, all those different things. That's how it all became. It was those kind of fortunate things where the underground dancers, the DJs and the singers would all get together. And that's where the Hub Club was the place where it became all mainstream.
Documentary's gonna be all that. Right now, you know what I'm saying, I'm chilling here in Germany. We're about to blow the stage up, you know what I'm saying, with Fly Damn Step. Catch this, it's on camera, kid. With my man B right here, we're gonna workshop, you know what I mean? Alright, mad skills, you know, that's the dance thing.
Brothers from Another Planet dancers. It was a lot of Haitian dancers, of course, Cape Verdeans, Latinos, and definitely you had some black dancers. Brothers from Another Planet dancers. What a funny name, huh? But one of the members, like they say, what happened to Vegas stays in Vegas. Alright then, let's continue on. They used to dance a lot at Club M, Hub Club, Axis, Venus de Milo. If you remember the video Freak It by Joanna, that was Brothers from Another Planet getting down in that video. One of the members from Brothers from Another Planet, he was in that group's drivetrain. Since he was the one bouncing back and forth to Boston, to New York City, he appeared in a lot of videos. The Choice Is Yours by Black Sheep, he was in that video. One thing you should know about Brothers from Another Planet dancers, it wasn't only about house music for them. Those guys was really into like reggae, hip hop, and back then you had something called hip house. After the club nights, you will catch them right there in front of the club. They'll be in a cypher freestyling. Brothers from another planet, them guys was from the hood. Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, Brockton, Lawrence, places like that. That's where them guys from. It wasn't only about house music for them, but they love house dancing. You could have catch them all the time dancing at like Chocolate City at MIT, places like Harvard University, UMass Boston, Boston College, UMass Amherst, and all the parties that was going on at Wellesley. And of course all the parties that was going on at Berkeley.
That's the break right there too, let me tell you. That does it for us. We're out of here. Bruno, you got anything to say? Head out to the party if you know what's up.
I guess I have to say, peace to the nation. That's the house nation. And
Wait, I never heard you say that before.
And check us out on Tuesday night at, I can't say, at the Paradise, aka Utopia.
Oh, so what? Did somebody say you couldn't say what was that?
Oh no. Okay.
God! Oh my God!
Is that who I think it is? Doug Nice. Yo, Doug Nice is in the HOUSC. Doug, get on the mic, man.
Doug,
what's up?
Hello, Boston.